Law of Attraction Talk Radio. Get ready to be the best you can be. Stay tuned for the Law of Attraction Talk Radio with Jules.
Well, welcome to Law of Attraction Talk Radio. I'm Jules, your host from beautiful, clean, and refreshing Southern California. I'm so glad you could join us because we have an absolutely wonderful guest that you all know and have followed since seeing The Secret. Dr. Joe Vitale is here with us, and I'm really, really excited about talking to him about his book, The Attractor Factor, among other things. Let me introduce Dr. Joe Vitale, who really doesn't need an introduction, but he is the spiritual marketing guru who became well known through his appearance in The Secret. With his exclusive 5-step attraction system, Joe has successfully coached thousands of people through his seminars, books, DVDs, webinars, TV, radio appearances on the law of attraction. Living the life of his wildest dreams, his life mission is to help others to do the same. I feel like a drum roll here. So everyone, here he is, the one, the only Joe Vitale. Welcome, Joe, to Law of Attraction Talk Radio.
Well, thank you. What a beautiful introduction. I was getting all excited, wondering who you were going to have on. It turns out it's me.
Of course, it's you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's a delight to be here. Looking forward to this.
Oh, good. Well, all the listeners are looking forward to this. Hey, I was thinking today that it's been over 2.5 years since the movie The Secret came out.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Now, you were already successful before The Secret, but this movie really brought you to the forefront of the how-to in the law of attraction. What's the ride been like for you since the movie?
Exhilarating. It's been a warp speed rocket ship blast through space. Because of that movie, of course, a whole different audience got to be aware of me. I was fairly well known on the Internet and had best-selling books out and was known as a marketer and copywriter and such. But that let people know about my spiritual side, my self-help side. And, of course, I got into the movie because of my book, The Attractor Factor. So that book became a long-running bestseller, just got revised and came out as a second edition recently. And, of course, being in that movie has put me in about 9 other movies that are either out or will be coming out over the next year. And, of course, it put me on Larry King twice and on Donnie Deutsch's show. And Oprah did a segment, and she ran a clip of me. So, in essence, I've been on Oprah, too. So it's just taken me to a whole new level of unexpected, joyful success and visibility that I never predicted or asked for. But I certainly welcome it, and I'm certainly grateful for it. It's been a wild, exhilarating ride.
Now, you never asked for it, but you did attract it. Is that correct?
It is, but I got to tell you the truth. I did ask for it, and I had forgotten that I did. Friends of mine pointed it out. I'm a great believer in mastermind groups, and I wrote a book with Bill Hibbler called Meet and Grow Rich, where I talk about how to create your own mastermind. Well, I was in a mastermind with Bill and Pat O'Brien and Craig Perrine and a few other people, and one day I walked in, and I said, with no logical reason for me to state this, that I wanted to be in a movie. And I said that I wanted to be in a movie, and I didn't want any cameo appearance where I just kind of walked in and walked out. I wanted something where I was noted, and I wanted it to be something I'd be proud of. And when I stated it as a casual intention with no emotion on it and no real expectation of how it would work out and not knowing how it would work out, I just let it go. I just did it spontaneously and let it go. And they reminded me that it was a few months after that I got that wonderful and bizarre phone call from this wonderful woman in Australia saying she wanted to make a movie about the law of attraction. She read my book, The Attractor Factor, and would I be in it if she pulled all the money together and everything else. And, of course, I said yes. And that's my philosophy in life. Say yes when the opportunities come. I said yes, and son of a gun, my intention, which I had forgotten about, got attracted into my life, and I ended up in The Secret, which, of course, has led to this domino effect that is not stopping anytime soon.
Yes, it's wonderful. And The Secret, the way it was marketed was so incredible, so incredible. I mean, it was such a silent, talk about internet marketing. Wow, that was beautiful.
It will go down in history as one of the greatest case studies of viral marketing we will ever see. I was the very first person to email my list when Rhonda said the DVD and the preview and the sign-up list was all available. So I started it, and then all those other teachers, there's 24 teachers in the movie The Secret, many of which have email lists and followings, all told their list. And then, of course, because the preview for The Secret was so mesmerizing and so exciting, everybody told everybody else. And that viral aspect of that marketing kicked in. And this is something that traditional Hollywood and even independent movie makers, for the most part, never knew how to do. But Rhonda leveraged the Internet in a way that hadn't been done before at that point. And so I stand here as a marketing person saying that case study of how that viral marketing worked will be studied and talked about for a long time and modeled, because it can work again if you just duplicate the essence of what she did.
And I think you also have to have a pretty spectacular movie like The Secret, though.
Well, you always have to have a good product, because in marketing, the rule of thumb is you can do things to get people's attention for your product. But if your product is something they really don't like and they don't want, it'll just die.
Yeah.
You will have gotten their attention, but they will say, well, I don't want that, and they won't tell anybody, and it'll just go puff, and it's gone.
Yeah, interesting. You know, one of the best things out of that movie came the complete understanding for many people, perhaps for the first time, that we are responsible for everything that happens to us. We create everything in our lives, the good and the bad. Now, that shook psychology to the core, didn't it? Do you remember?
It shook a lot of people to the core.
Yeah, that's right, because we'd never heard it so plain. And remember how many psychologists were just really angry with that statement?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, the movie pushed a lot of buttons, and still does. You said it was a complete message about responsibility, and I don't know that it was a complete message. I think the movie was an introduction to the idea, and I think it introduced it to people maybe for the first time. And that has been a sore spot for many people. There's a lot of critics who still condemn the movie for being incomplete and for starting something and not finishing it. I defend the movie because I say it's simply a documentary. It was something designed to introduce, and that's it, introduce the law of attraction, personal responsibility, the fact that you do create your own reality, or at least co-create your own reality, but it never pretended to be the be-all and end-all. Right. It was simply opening the door and saying, here's the secret, here's the secret. But that's not all there is. There's more to it. And that's why I've even written some books like The Key, and I've recorded The Missing Secret to help people understand the deeper aspects of personal responsibility and the law of attraction. But I defend the movie. It doesn't matter if I was in it or not. I'd still say it's one of the greatest gifts ever been given to our planet, because it's helped awaken so many people. And even those who are resisting it, sooner or later they'll come around to realize that their own resistance is something they've attracted, and it's something they personally created. So they'll begin to feel that they are creating their own reality because of everything they're experiencing. They'll have to look and say, it isn't anybody else making that happen, it's that individual making it happen. So ultimately they'll awaken, but this is just, they're being stirred. Yeah,
but it stirred so many people. I mean, really, people really didn't understand that we were responsible. We have been, I don't think society has been helping us with the victim mentality, and so it moved us away from that. And I thought, wow, if it does anything, it just introduced that concept. But, like you said, it's controversial, and many say that The Secret concentrated too much on the material aspect instead of the spiritual. What's your response to that?
I tell them to go watch the movie again because towards the end of the movie, she talks about, or there's aspects of changing the planet and changing the political system. And so it's not a big focus, admittedly, but this is a movie to help people regain their power. And if you just think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, when you're starving and you're in survival and you start to learn how to attract things into your life, the first thing you want to do is take care of yourself. You want to feed yourself. You want to house yourself. You want to get out of your pain and misery. I was homeless in Dallas 30-some years ago. I was in poverty in Houston for a very long time. And so when I started to learn about creating my own reality and personal responsibility and the law of attraction, the first person I wanted to take care of...
To hear more of this interview, go to lawofattracttalkradio.com.